Hello everyone, it's Elizabeth and I'm here in my art loft, and I thought I'd do a quick flip through of the journal that I made in the last 4 weeks. I started with an envelope this size and I folded it in half to make my window frame for my front of my journal, and I thought it was too tall, so I went ahead and cut off part of it, about 2 inches worth, or 1.5 inches. Let's see, I'll check that out for you. Yeah, about 1 3/4 I cut off, ending in, we ended up with 7 3/4 inch as our size of a journal. So I used 5 different books that I had gotten at the thrift store. They were, I think, $1 a piece or something like that. And I started by making the front folder, this and this. You know, this part is all one envelope. If you put your hand in this pocket here, you can, you know, slide your finger all the way into here. This front part I have a tag in. And most of my tags I used the one book, which was Perennials. It was an identification book, or told you where they would be best to be grown and so on. And then of course I just used a white card backing for that. If you like the beige color, you could of course use a beige card backing instead. Each of the envelopes has, well, most of the envelopes have the interesting pattern inside them, and if you wanted to leave it open without a tag in it, you could do that too. I'm just going to straighten it up just a little bit, and it'll go in there a little bit better. But I just covered everything with the other 4 books. There was a Japanese copy of Madame Bouvier's Lovers. There was a music book that is in Latin. There is a book about, I think it's about, anyway, it's a Peace Corps, something of that nature, that was called the Sunflower. And then there was this part here that's got the dense writing. This is the open writing here. And then the one that had the dense writing is a dictionary of fable references or something like that. I started out going to make the book with 5 envelopes. So I used the big huge envelope first, and then this side has a set of 4 little pockets that I made by cutting a single envelope. This envelope I had gotten from when I was doing graphic design, and it was a sample envelope of what you could have for your client or for yourself, whichever. And I just cut it randomly, kind of diagonally, and turned the pieces upside down or right side up so that they would have the yellow stripes that came on the envelope automatically on different sides. Then for each of my tags, I tried to do a little something different. This is a folded tag, white, of course, to make a lot of space for writing since it is a journal. The smallest one is just a piece from the Perennials book, and you could have it either side up. I kind of like the red side up myself. There's not a color theme to this other than the beige color of the pages that, you know, of old book pages. And when the music pages are not automatically, you know, aged like that, so I did have to go through and age them. So I just used my Gathered Twigs is the distress ink that I like, Gathered Twigs, and using that I just distressed the music pages so that they looked similar to the other pages, so that when I was pasting them on here they wouldn't be you know, stand out as extra white. Of course, all my tags have white backings, and, you know, some of them just made a collage board, piece of the white paper, collaged on the things, and then chopped out some tags to go into the various pockets. Okay, so I had one large envelope. I put a belly band here. I probably need another tag in behind there. I'll go ahead and do that before I finish this out. but I wanted this to look like a trellis with some flowers on the front and some flowers behind. That's a napkin applique. The trellis is a piece of some kind of wired ribbon stuff that over with acetate in behind it, because otherwise you'd be getting your tag hung up in all those holes as you were trying to put it in there. This vine I made with some pieces of embroidery floss, because I didn't have enough of the napkin vine left. I only had one napkin. Moral of the story is make sure that you have more than one napkin when you start doing a napkin applique, so that you'll have bits and pieces that you can use for whatever parts you want. When I glued this picture from the Perennials book on, I went ahead and left it open on two sides so that it could have a tag in it. Cut this with my 3.5-inch circle cutter, and then just cut out around it so that it'd have a nice little framey thing. And of course, that's a nice little spot to write, because it is supposed to be a junk journal, so journal means it's supposed to have some capability to write on it, right? I did a frame. The frame here I did not make into the, to match the frame that the pocket had, that the envelope had. The envelope had something similar to this, and you can see how I cut that out to be exact. This one I left in a more natural form, and I kind of like it like that. It has a, it's a junk journal, so why wouldn't you have something a little junky looking, I guess. This is washi tape, of course, on that. Again, another picture that I left so that you could have a tag in behind it. This one I used a stencil and my gathered twigs. Oops, that's the back of the tag. And when I got ready to put this in, this is another single envelope that was, as big as this. I covered it with the papers, and then I used, you see where I've hinged it with just another piece of the paper, and I hinged over the edge of this pocket here. This pocket contains a cute little booklet, which has some of a board, collage board that I did, and it wasn't wide enough, as wide as I wanted it to be, so I simply attached it to another board, with just two sides with the glue. Well, actually this side too. And then I have a tag that goes in there, so you could put like a regular tag in there, or more pieces of paper in there that you could write on for the journaling. But I thought this was kind of cute, and it just has like brown paper bag as the pages, and it's a lightweight stuff. It's not actually paper bag, but it's that same kind of material. I have actually 4 pages, 4 pieces of paper, so 4 pages, and then so when you double them in half, that makes 8, and then each side, so you'd have 16 surfaces plus the front and back, 18 surfaces to write on in that one little book. This has, I did it with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and the strings I left outside and put some beads on because I thought that would be a lot of fun, and they are really pretty beads. That's probably the most expensive part of the whole book. I made the closure part by adding a piece of wire. This was a head pin that I chopped off the head, and I bent it so that it would be a down and then out, down and back in, down again. So these two pieces were in line with each other, and then I just put a little piece of paper, and actually there's tape under there because the red tape, which is a plastic tape, will keep that so that it won't pull through, it won't tear through with that wire. If you pull on this, it's really sturdy because it has the paper, well, it has the tape, and then it has the paper over it so that you can't see the tape. And the thing that's neat about this kind of journal is if you're collaging all this paper onto some surface, and you're using that surface to as the structure of your book, when you're collaging all this paper, if you have something that goes wrong and it tears, like say right there, I could just put another piece of paper there, put a little bit of the gathered twigs Distress Ink, and you'd never know that that was done after the whole book was done, because it would blend in with the rest of it. Okay, so that goes in there, and that was my original envelope, as I said, was just this part here and this part back here. So when I wanted to add more to it, I simply took another envelope, folded it in half, and then used paper to attach that to this side of that opening. So you can see that it's hinged to that opening. This envelope here that's folded in half is hinged to that opening with other pieces of paper. So this is part of my original piece, and then this other is hinged to it. Now here's the other half of my closure, is the same kind of thing attached to here. You might be able to see it a little better there. I just put some tape, or if you didn't have the tape, like the red tape that's got the plastic lining, you could use Tyvek, and if you don't have Tyvek, you can get that Tyvek envelopes at your post office. They have Tyvek envelopes that you can get free of charge to send priority mail. I don't say that you should get a lot of them, because you're not going to need, huge amounts. You can use just a little tiny strip of it right under this piece of paper, and then put the piece of paper over it to disguise that. This again is another larger envelope, and I put in a tag. So this one didn't have any pretty stuff on the inside of it, though. Actually, this was two envelopes that I put together to make a single kind of envelope. So if it was going to be the outside of as if it was going to be the outside of another book, but I didn't make it as a separate book. I just added it onto this one. So we need to just stick that down in there, and it does get hung up. If I do this again, I will make sure to open up my envelopes so that I can glue down around the cellophane that's in there for the window, because sometimes when you're putting your tags in, the window gets it stuck a little bit. The tag gets stuck on the edge of that cellophane, and it's hard to put it in there. Okay, so it looks like when you get out here, stamp. So when you've got the book like this, that's the front. When you turn it over, that's the back, but this could be the front if you like it that way. It just ties on the other side. So when you open this up, you've got a waterfall card, waterfall pockets, which you have 4 different pockets, which are, collaged around in just a irregular fashion, with note cards in each one, so that you can make your journaling for that day or that week, month, whatever the thoughts are. And we have 4 of those, and they have varying size pockets, and some of the pictures are not all the way across. So like that one is a lily, what do you call those things? Well, it might be a lily. It's got lily pad looking things. What are they called in China? Well, anyway, not going to worry about it. Whatever that flower is, it's a pretty flower. And this is another pretty flower. Again, to make it, ooh, and it's coming loose, so I better put a little bit more of my art glitter glue there real quick. That's what I used on the tags, but for most of the collaging of the papers, I used just a glue stick, and I used the ones that you get from Hobby Lobby. The ones that you currently get from Hobby Lobby are not nearly as good as the old ones that you used to get from Hobby Lobby that said they were photo safe. I don't know if they save photos anymore, but they used to be made in Taiwan. Now they're made in China, and they're not as good as they used to be. This had a piece of paper that was hinged into this pocket right here, and I simply extended it. See, it wasn't long enough, so I put an extra little piece of paper on it and made it into a belly band so that you could have even more tags, more places to write underneath of that, underneath of all these little pockets here. Then on the other side, we have a simple like a folder type pocket, and this one was an envelope which is attached to that other piece there, and I just cut the envelope this was the body of the envelope, and then the flap would have come down like this. So I just cut like where the envelope, sort of like this one. No, not like this one, but like a normal one. I just cut from here to that corner to make the thing there. That's not even the same size, is it? Okay. And then I put 2 tags in this one. And then at the top here we have what's called a hidden paper clip, because we have a paper clip that's covered in collage paper and a napkin collage on top of that. And it's actually holding in a couple of journaling cards on the other side. This page here without the paper clip has nothing on it. So it could be, you could, you know, make your own waterfall card or anything that you want to do with that, or you could just leave the journaling cards, put 2 or 3 of them under there. And it has a real paper clip on the inside, a large paper clip. I think it goes down to there. And the way that you do that is you just take your paper clip, and of course I won't have one here that I can show you with, but you take your paper clip like this and you double over your paper. I don't want to do it with that because I want to keep that piece of paper. But you double over your paper and you put it in between your paper clip, and then you collage onto that. And so when you've done that, then you've hidden all of the metal of the paper clip inside that collage. And you have in here, since it's doubled over, then you can, you know, you can put things in there like this paper clip here. Okay? If you don't understand that, there are lots of people that explain hidden paper clips on YouTube, and I'm sure you can find one of them. This is a lace pocket. I had a large piece of lace. This one was blank also, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. This was one of the last pages I did. So I had a large piece of lace and doubled it over. So this is one single piece of lace, this top part, and this doubled over here. I used the red tape to adhere that to my collage, and so you actually have 2 pockets, one there behind the lace and one in between where I doubled it over. And then these roses were added separately. They did not match the lace and the collage that much, so I simply used some of my distress ink on that as well. And that's all there is to this lovely little junk journal. And to tie it back up, I just had 2 pieces of silk stuff that I had dyed with some it's actually, I used the Extreme Sheen Gold paint, acrylic paint, and it leaves the cloth a little bit stiffer than it would be just as silk, but it gives it such a pretty color, and it has all these little sparklies. I don't know, can you see all the little sparklies in there? Yeah, it has all those little sparklies, so I love this. I love how it turned out, and it matches this, to me, matches this perfectly. So I just tie them with both at the same time. You could tie 2 separate bows if you were so inclined. And if you put more in it, you would have possibly a smaller bow, because there is room for more things to go in the journal if you wanted to stick more stuff in there. And I just tie these doubly like this, and then when I've got it pulled through a little bit, I go ahead and adjust them around a little bit and straighten out my bow. Let's pull you this way just a little, and separate these two little parts here. Separate. Come on now, why are you being a pain? You're supposed to go down this way. Come here. You're going to go down there. Yeah. There we go. Well, it's not going to do it, is it? It's going to be obstinate. Okay, that's close enough. Okay, if I separate these 2 little guys out and straighten this guy out a little bit, and we've got a lot of, just kind of manhandle it, it'll work. Woman handle it. Whatever. And there you have a pretty little bow to go on your pretty little journal. That's all I have for now. If you like this, please subscribe, comment, share, and like. And I'll see you next time, probably doing some more gel printing, since that's one of my favorite things to do on YouTube. But if I do something new, I might show you that too. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.